Sure. I am a warm line counselor and I started January of 21. And I was familiar with MHASF because when I lived in San Francisco, I was a program coordinator for RAMS and for a peer internship program. And um, my interns used to come to MHASF and shadow. So I was familiar with it from that a while back in from 15 to 18. And then when I moved to Southern California uh, during the pandemic, I just out of the blue kind of thought of MHASF and knew that they were on the phone. And I sent an email to Sarah Jean asking if it would be possible if I could maybe work for them remotely. This is before you guys went remote. And she was so kind. And over like the next 6 months, she would stay in touch periodically and say, just be patient. We're setting people up remotely and we'd love to give you an interview. And so that's how it all began. And also a good friend of mine who works for the Department of Public Health in San Francisco, Tracy Helton, she recommended me and gave me really pushed for me to try to work here. So or to make a long story short, I was at a crossroads when I turned 40, and I'm now 58. I got clean and sober when I was 40, and up to that point, I had worked as a bartender for over 25 years. And I knew that if I wanted to really keep my own sobriety and my mental health intact, I needed to find a career change. So I was in rehab at 40, and a counselor said, you can go back to school. And I was like, really? So, so at that time, I went back to school for HIV counseling and peer counseling. I'm a person who lives with HIV. And yeah, so I really responded I took group facilitation, case management, and community outreach, and I really responded to those. And this was right before the peer movement was really happening. So at that time, I got a job as a dual recovery group facilitator, and I used to take meetings to different sites in San Francisco, rehabs and psych wards. So that's where my career started back in 2012. Well, I want to start by saying that I have never, the past job I had at Rams, I thought I hit the pinnacle of being supported in a job. I thought that the support was so great, and I had a really close relationship with my clinical manager who kind of took me under his wing and really just taught me so much. So I felt when I came to MHASF, the bar was risen. I felt like not only was the support there and the training from supervisors and the whole staff, but I felt like it was really effort called it really present and phoned it in. I mean, you really had to. I just found that the whole from beginning orientation, from the interview process to all the way getting into the job, I have felt nothing but support, and I feel like my professional development has even gotten better because of the trainings and the monthly peer support that we get with Kristen Dempsey has been a huge help. I love that. And all the way down to having the debriefs with coordinators. I mean, I had to have one today. I've had a really intense morning, and it's only 10 a.m. The one thing that I've noticed over the arc of me being here is that really being able to compartmentalize well. Like when I first started here, it was really tough sometimes to wash off a call or really let it stay at work. Now, I don't know whether it's just for really staying on top of my self-care, but now I can really, like when I'm done with work, I can shut that computer off and I'm done. Even at the end of my shift, just proofreading call reports, I'm like, Well, I kind of vaguely remember that call at the beginning of my shift, but I don't hold on to them like I used to.
Hmm.
So that's been, I think like anything with practice, it gets better. Yeah. Gosh, where do I begin? Well, just the importance of, peers with lived experience who are willing to show up and share their experience and be there to, um, listen to folks, whether it's, loneliness or whether they're going through substance abuse or mental health issues. I think there is a certain uh, familiarity or comfort or safeness with clients that are using our services. I know it for a fact. I mean, the phone calls I receive with the positive feedback, it's great. I mean, and I think it's a trickle down effect that happens from the way from the first day of classroom training. It's just you feel like you are supported and this is really a team effort. I've had the opportunity to help with some group supervisions and some classroom training, and I I will say after 2.5 years, the newness has not worn off on me. I think partially is because I work part-time, which was a uh, really decision I made at the beginning because I didn't want to develop burnout. I wanted to be in for the long haul, and I believe I am. Yeah, really. I mean, and I've said this a lot to everyone. Nothing but gratitude. I mean, when I live in Palm Springs now. When I first moved here in 18, after being in San Francisco for, you know, almost 30 years, it was very disappointing not being able to find peer work down here. So when this all unfolded for me and I got this job, I was like, I just knew that it was waiting for me. Like there was something that just bigger than myself that I thought, wow, this is where I'm supposed to be. So on that note, I have referred many of friends who are looking, peer workers that are looking for work, and I like the fact that it's kind of hard to get in here. I like that it took a while, and it kind of made me appreciate it even more. So yeah, thank you. And again, I wear my recovery and mental health issues on my sleeve because I think, it's a part of who I am. So I do feel, doubly blessed that I get to do work that, encompasses what my personal life is. A lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and again, I'm very grateful for the team effort and thank you for letting me share.